You're on the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez, and today we have a show coming straight to you from Dallas.
The Concrete Cowboy in Dallas, Texas. We are literally, 500 yards from the stadium, from where the fight's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Exciting.
Really exciting.
Good fights tonight. And we just got done bullshitting with Robert Garcia. He had to run over to the arena for the fights.
Yes.
And I cannot get my Facebook Live going.
I can't get mine either.
But I got it. Exit out of it.
I got it. I think. Okay. Yeah, so let's get right into it. What do you think about the Spence and Ocampo fights? How do you think that's going to play out?
I think it's going to be Spence is going to go in and dominate the fight.
I don't have it going past 5 myself.
Yeah, I don't want to call on a stoppage how early, but I do see one coming. I kind of want to call what you're saying, but I don't want to sound like you.
Yeah.
And
well, I know you want to sound like me, but
have you? I called it first.
Oh, when do I ever say that?
I called it first.
When do I ever do that?
But I kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, and then the undercard too. I'm looking forward to is Granados and Fortuna.
Oh yeah.
I you know what?
Justin, try to hook me up, homie. Justin, try to hook me up on there.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I got Granados winning that fight.
You know what? That's a tough one to pick there, but I agree with you also on that one. Today, we're finally in agreement on everything today.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go out on a limb. You know what I mean? Fortuna's not a bad fighter.
I wouldn't bet the fight.
No.
But I just think Granados is going to pull it out. He's been impressive recently. I don't know. I am going to go that route.
Yeah, Damon wants
Plus, I kind of like Granados too.
I do. I like Granados as a person. Damon says, "What's the deal, fellas?" Well, I'll tell you what the deal is.
Thank you, buddy.
I'll tell you what the deal is. We put in the GPS for the Concrete Cowboy, and it took us to the other Concrete Cowboy on the other side of the city. And we weren't familiar with Dallas enough to know where we were going, so we were a little late.
Yeah.
But hey, we're here.
David, I don't know if you know about Texas or Dallas, but fucking Dallas is the size of Ohio. So it's not like getting lost in Youngstown, Ohio.
No, not at all. Not at all. But no, like I said, you know, I think we've had a great tonight of fights, a lot of action-packed type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome.
As far as the what do you see? Have you ever seen? I've seen one fight. How many fights have you seen of
Ocampo?
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, I've never seen him fight. I've seen him sparring. I saw some footage
clips
of him sparring.
Yeah, I've seen clips on YouTube of his fight.
You know, he's never fought out of Mexico, so you know how that is. It's gonna be really hard to find something unless it's like a Tecate series or a...
I wonder why they took this fight though. I understand
money.
that.
Money?
No, I'm talking about Spence.
Oh.
At this point.
I think it keeps him busy. It's a busy fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there ain't really much else out there.
There's not out there. Everybody's booked. You know, everybody's dance card's booked right now that he can't fight. I think it's all leading to just a Crawford thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. You know, a tune-up. The talks on that Crawford and Spence are legit now, ain't they?
Oh yeah, they are legit. And you know, we've heard a bunch of crazy opinions yesterday on it.
Thanks, Damon. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're glad we finally made it too.
We are too. But hey, before you go, I want to thank Scott Best and Rebecca Best for chauffeuring us today, because that is a hard job.
Yeah, Scott Best and
Rebecca Best for chauffeuring this weekend.
Even though they got us a little late.
Late.
But they weren't hired to be the chauffeur, so.
No, but they did. They have taken us everywhere we wanted to go, so, you know, which I think's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. But
let's get our hat too.
You know what?
Scott, did you bring the hat in? What was you going to say now?
Oh, nothing. Oh, listen, today before we get started,
I want to say to our sponsor title. What?
Oh yeah. First of all, we want to thank our title, our sponsor, Don's Automotive, Get Your Money Clothing, and I want to thank our sponsors. And we just had a good talk with Robert Garcia.
Yeah, and Ernie from Everlast.
Ernie from Everlast. So, I mean, everything's going good the way it's supposed to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we're going to be meeting with some other people tonight from all over the place. We're getting to meet different people. It's going to be awesome. Excited, giggity. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's talk about a little bit about the I mean, I think everything we can say about this fight is pretty much easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would. I think at time, everybody's busy right now too because we're not getting any questions, but I would say, the Crawford Spence.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really want to get too excited about it because we know how it goes in boxing sometimes. You know what I mean? Like some fights don't get made.
Yeah.
But if the fight was to happen, again, I was talking to a guy the other day, and we're going to retract back onto like what you're saying. I know it's going to get a little irritating as far as the pound for pound list and everything else goes, but I have Spence over Crawford. I have Lomachenko, Spence, and Crawford. I know you made the point on that, well, Crawford has better recognition on his resume and on his record, but again, pound for pound best fighter in the world, I look at it like that. Who is the best fighter right now? I don't look at pound for pound who fought the best guys in record. I think Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford is not the best fighter in his weight class right now. In any other weight class, I say he is, but I don't think that he's the best in his weight class. I think Earl Spence is, and how can I have him number 1 or 2 above Spence?
How can you pull Terrence Crawford out of that number 1 spot if he hasn't lost?
I know, but do you think that Spence can beat Crawford?
Yes.
Well, how can you have Crawford ranked ahead pound for pound best fighter?
Because my opinion doesn't make the pound for pound list. The pound for pound list is based on what have you done in the past, what have you done now.
But it does come down to...
No.
It does, though.
Because it comes down to the rings pound for pound list. Don't care what I think.
Yeah, but Crawford was in a different division, too, than Spence right now.
Even so, just because you move up, you shouldn't fall out until you lose a fight. The weight class really has nothing to do with the pound for pound list.
I understand, but pound for pound still is who is the best fighter out there.
Right, and it has nothing to do with weight class.
In the eyes of numerous amount of people, the higher percentage thinks that Spence will beat Crawford.
Look at the resumes, though, and then.
But that is not what makes the pound for pound best fighter.
It does. The resume does make the pound for pound best fighter.
But you think Spence is a better fighter?
I think Spence, but until he fights, there's no way to prove that until he fights.
It kind of makes no sense, though. Like, it's not the pound for pound who fought better people. It's the pound for pound best fighter.
No.
And if you think Spence is better, it will be.
Pound for pound, to me, is not a future. It's the past and the present. Who's done what, and up to this point, whether I think he loses to Spence is immaterial. What's he done now? When that fight, it changes.
Yeah, I still have Spence over. That comes down to an opinion based on the ranking too.
Yeah.
That's why you'll have different. Well, I'm spitting like a fucking Daffy Duck right now.
Do you want to bring Jordan Jones and ask him?
Yeah.
Jordan, come over here. Hey, bring him in too. We'll ask him. Come on in here. Hey, we're gonna have some experts over here. All right, we're gonna have some experts.
Thanks, Patrick. We appreciate that.
All right, thank you. All right, we got Jordan Jones with us. Go ahead and tell him about yourself, Jordan.
My name is Jordan Jones. I am 27 years old. I've got a fight coming up next month. It's going to be July 27th here in Dallas, Texas. So I'm definitely going to be looking to make some noise.
Go ahead and tell him about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is G.W. Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm a former amateur boxer and a retired Navy veteran. I'm in Frisco for the Spence Ocampo fight, and I just love boxing.
All right, guys. This is what we're asking. Pound for pound list. Who do you got? Number 1.
Pound for pound, in the running, I'd definitely have to say my dude Bud. I think he's definitely in the running for sure. Terrence Crawford, he's a phenomenal fighter for sure.
But who would you take in a fight?
Who would I take in a fight?
Spence or Crawford?
I've sparred with Spence before, and against Crawford, he's very technical, very tactical, very aggressive. Something I don't like. But honestly, I'll take him on just the same, to be honest with you.
As for me, I have to give number one pound for pound to Terrence Bud Crawford. He has not lost very many rounds in his career. Now, if you match him against Errol Spence Jr., I would somewhat have to lean toward Errol Spence Jr. because Errol's the naturally bigger man and he's a savage puncher. And Yuriokis Gamboa was able to drop Bud back in order about June of 2013 and not just drop him, hurt him. So if Yuriokis Gamboa, who started off as a featherweight, could do that, imagine what Errol Spence could do. And also, could Bud hold up to that vicious body attack?
Okay, and I agree with Bud.
I definitely concur.
Kelly's.
I just got called out by Daniel.
Daniel
He's
always
right.
calls. Anything about Mikey, he will cuss your ass out about it. But no, here's what me. Here's where me and Kelly differ on this. Kelly's asking me, how can I take Bud over Spence if I think Spence will beat Bud? I said because the pound for pound list is based on the past and the present, not the future.
I understand, but it's also based on opinion too, because.
But it's not my opinion that matters. It's what.
Yeah, because everybody has
the
different
writers.
pound for pound.
Exactly.
listings, though.
Exactly, but the main pound for pound list, right, which is done by the Ring, it's not up to me.
And yes, you could put Lomachenko number one.
We could.
With what he has done.
And I have Lomachenko over Spence too. I got Crawford, Lomachenko, and Spence number 3, and I got Mikey Garcia number 4.
I agree with that.
Definitely.
But I just have one flip. I have.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% for sure. Definitely. In the case of Terrence Crawford, I definitely say that he's a pound for pound due to his past, his present, and what he's looking to do in the future. Errol Spence, amazing fighter, never discredit. I honestly think that if Bud moves up to Crawford's weight, he's going to be hurt. I honestly believe that.
I kind of just go on the way I like to rate it. And I know Daniel called me out on it.
Well, go ahead and respond.
But I have it like, who's the best fighter out there? Okay, that's how I look at it because it's pound for pound best fighter. It's that best pound for pound who got the better resume.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I know that you based it off of that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's called pound for pound, and if I think that Spence can beat Crawford, pound for pound better fighter, and because he's bigger, natural at welterweight right now, and he's a sound technician in there too. Spence is. You got power, pop, good chin, strong. I would have to say that I put him over Crawford at that point.
But are we talking pound for pound, or are we just talking the welterweight division?
Pound for pound, but you motherfuckers are making me go back to the drawing board now because Daniel got me too on that.
It's true. But here's my thing on this. Here's my take on this. Daniel said, how do you have Lomachenko? It's the same thing, Daniel. They have not fought.
Yeah.
He's saying a what if. What if they fought? Kelly says that Lomachenko is number 1 over Mikey, but Mikey would beat Lomachenko in the fight because of size. What do you guys think about that? Mikey or Lomachenko?
Technician-wise, I would say Lomachenko. The fighting style. Well, no, not necessarily. Okay,
I mean, like athletic.
Athletic-wise, like
Yeah.
the speed, the awkwardness to his fighting style. I think he would take that. But as far as again technician-wise, I think Mikey would definitely
He did
take
a
that.
natural size well.
He does, yeah, he definitely does.
Let's ask. What do you think?
Well, I would have to lean toward Mikey Garcia over Vasil Lomachenko. I mean, Vasil had that fantastic amateur career, but Mikey Garcia is a very polished and accomplished professional, and he's beaten some very, very good boxers.
Yeah.
I mean, he handed Dejan Latikinen the most definitive defeat of his career. Then he followed up and defeated Sergey Lipinets. And if Jorge
Literally shut Broner out.
yes.
Shut him. Not many people could do that with Broner, no matter how good you are. You know what I mean? So that goes to show a lot too.
I would have to lean with Mike.
Do you think? My question to you: do you think size matters? Because I know
Size, definitely.
So do you think that takes a factor as far as Lomachenko versus Mikey?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Right.
I'm in favor of Mikey as far as that goes. He is a very well-rounded professional. Skill set, again, like I said, you were saying, amateur. Lomachenko has a very, very extensive, amazing amateur record. But I think he still has that amateur factor about himself.
Brian Caledonia says hypothetical matchups don't count in pound for pound. Thanks for letting us know. I don't think we ever figured that out on our own.
So you were saying about Lomachenko getting a little reckless, though. Is that what you're kind of hitting towards?
Yes.
I think so too. I think that's going to be the only way that he kind of loses. Well, he can't kind of lose, but how he loses is that he gets caught.
Yeah.
Where he would fall short.
It just happened against Jorge Linares.
But that was more of just he got caught. You know what I mean? That wasn't for being too stupid.
He was too stupid.
No,
he jumped in and got caught.
It wasn't that much. He was more paused than jumping in. If you go back and watch that, I mean, he's got hit right there. He paused.
But what happened was Lomachenko's weakness has always been impatience. Impatience has always been Lomachenko's.
The 2 fights before that, where that guy was just missing that chin because he was switching in midair, that's where he gets reckless. You know, he gets a little too comfortable. Like he gets bored. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big thing.
Or staying on the inside way too long. It's just saying, hey, hit me in the mouth.
Exactly.
And you know what? There's only one guy that can get away with that, and that is actually Lomachenko. But you pull shit like that with Mikey, you're going to have a long night.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Because where the size comes into play on that, Mikey ain't going to give a shit about taking the shots.
No.
He's gonna take them, and he'll fire all to the body. Eventually, you're going to move into that shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Exactly.
And that will take its toll over the rounds too.
And let's get back to this hypothetical. We're not talking hypothetical fights. We're talking Crawford and Spence is not a hypothetical fight.
No.
That is a potential fight.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, people are saying hypothetical fights. Well, in boxing, if my sister had a dick, she'd be my brother. Do you know what I mean? No, that's how we make these fights. These guys are on a collision course. Lomachenko and Mikey, not so much. The weight, whatever. Yeah. But Spence and Crawford, you can count on.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely see talks after this fight here. With
definitely.
the fight.
It's gonna be in the works for sure.
And I think that's why they put Crawford in there with a guy big like Horn to get him kind of ready for that, acclimated to the 147 with a bigger welterweight. Horn's a big ass welterweight.
Jeff Horn, in my eyes, Jeff Horn was an okay opponent for Bud Crawford. But let's be honest, Jeff Horn is not an elite boxer.
Jeff Horn's not even ranked in the top 10 of guys named Jeff Horn.
Well, you got to be careful of that because he kind of was for a short period of time there, and he asked to Crawford.
Well,
in the first 2 rounds.
3 or 4 rounds, 3 or 4.
I classify Horn versus Crawford the same way I do R.I.P. Arturo Gotti, Floyd Mayweather Jr. The fight was a blowout. Jeff then went around on the official scorecard. At best, Jeff is a gritty and tough.
I think Mayweather was definitely more of an ass whooping. Crawford laid it on him. Crawford did a great thing against Horn.
But you know what?
He wore him down.
Crawford's biggest knack against him, he's a slow starter. That's always in Crawford. Crawford's like a diesel engine. Get slow and get stronger and stronger, and then pretty soon he's going to fuck you up. He's going to take you out.
But I'm going to touch on something else. Jose Benavides, the brother of WBC super middleweight champion David Benavides.
What's up, Steve?
Has been calling out Bud Crawford. And in my eyes, I think it's a mistake for Top Rank to throw Jose in the ring against Bud because Derry Jean and Hank Lundy, along with any other boxer, Breeders Prescott, they have never been the same after fighting Bud Crawford. Felix Diaz, the Dominican gold medal winner, he's not the same. He got knocked out in an off-television fight.
I think you'll start seeing some shit though. If Crawford don't start fighting Thurmans and if Thurman ever comes back, or the Porters or Danny Garcias, those guys also though after this, if the Spence fight don't happen, I think he's going to take a lot of shit because the fans are going to demand Crawford fighting these type of guys.
I got a way to. If I was part of Bud Crawford's management team, I would do 2 things. First of all, I would defend that WBO welterweight title once, and if I couldn't get a commitment from the Garcia versus Porter winner or Keith Thurman for a fight, I would vacate that WBO welterweight title, and I would fight to get ranked by the WBC, WBA, and IBF, because that way, if I become mandatory, those boxers.
I don't think he has to work that hard though. Once you get to a name like Crawford, without any of the belts, you're still going to get a big fight. You know, same thing like with Mayweather.
I was going to ask what you think.
As far as
That's what we're talking about. Jordan ain't listening to shit.
I'm
He's like,
listening.
"Well, I'm out."
No, I'm listening.
Jordan's talking to hoes on his phone. He's like,
Yeah,
"Yep."
he's
No, let me tell you, like, this is my opinion
trouble,
only.
man.
This is my opinion only, and I don't know how, but I see things in Crawford. I see a weakness in Crawford that a lot of trainers and things don't talk about. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but he has trouble on the inside. Guys on the inside can hurt him. He can be hurt on the inside. Diaz hurt him on the inside. Gamboa hurt him on the inside. He don't like to be roughed up on the inside. It's something that I'm sure he's working on. But if you get a guy like Spence on the inside, he will fuck you up on the inside.
Absolutely.
And that's something.
And he'll take them body shots a lot either. Simon said, and this is a good point, this is why I think that this is going to be really realistic. He says, well calculated by Top Rank to schedule Crawford and Spence fights 1 week apart. In other words, it's kind of almost like a prelude. I think this fight will be made. I think it will.
Yeah, I also agree. Also, guys, I'm hearing from a really reliable, super reliable source, one of the most reliable sources, after Crawford is already in talks with Amir Khan.
Well, but see, that is big too, though.
That's huge.
That is a very reliable source.
Don't sleep on Amir Khan. Amir Khan's a big man.
Amir Khan, if Amir Khan had a chin, I would be saying he's pound for pound right now.
Absolutely. Breeders' Prescott stopped Amir Khan.
At what weight? At what weight did he stop him?
That was a junior welterweight.
At what weight did he stop him? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
He's at a weight right now that he's better at. And let me tell you, like, something else that's something we just got dropped on, some knowledge. We spent a couple days with Chris Algieri. We said, Chris, who was the hardest puncher you ever faced? He said, without a doubt, it was Amir Khan. He hit harder than Spence, and he hit harder than Mikey. I was like, okay. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe he just said that because he took a beating. You know what I mean? They're always going to give that guy more credit. I said, Mikey Garcia, who hit you the hardest in sparring? He said, Valero and Amir Khan. Yeah. Pacquiao said...
Listen, if Khan had a chin, hand speed wise, he's probably one of the fastest guys in the sport.
Yes.
Hand speed. Skill, I mean, he really hasn't got beat up by anybody besides knock the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Marcos Maidana gave him a hell of a fight.
Didn't knock him out.
Yeah.
But
didn't knock him out. And Marcos Maidana had the heaviest hands in the division at that time.
Danny Garcia knocked him out.
Danny Garcia did knock him out.
Yeah.
But
that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
If Khan, had a chin again, but now that's going back on like, if my aunt had bowls, she'd be my uncle, my mom, shit like that. But
I'm not saying Amir Khan beats Crawford. I'm not saying that. I would be stupid to even think. But what I'm saying is, I would not sleep on Amir Khan winning this fight. He's a bigger man. He's a guy that's fought at 54. Crawford's a guy that came from 140.
Boxing-wise, has the ability to beat Crawford.
He's a better boxer than Crawford.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, you talk about Crawford and Khan.
Okay. Right. Steven Casper from Worldwide Boxing said, I heard Khan and Crawford is a done deal.
Middleweight.
They Worldwide Boxing said Khan and Crawford's about a done deal.
Well, there goes that idea with Spence and Crawford. Well, I don't see Spence being able to make 147 much longer. That's another thing.
He's a
big boy. And yesterday at the weigh-in,
I thought he was a natural 54 is what I from.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw Spence in New York City on the Broner Mikey Garden, and we were in the hallway. Somebody said, I don't know who it was. They said, hey, Errol, how heavy are you? He said 200 pounds. Like, what the fuck? Did you just say 200 pounds? Wow. And he wasn't fat. The man was not fat. He didn't look like me. But no, the guy is ripped, man.
Definitely for sure.
Like, you know better than I am. You know better. You sparred.
I called him fat just because I can tell when you start gaining some weight. So I called him fat.
But you sparred with Spence, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? How hard did this guy hit?
Recently, I haven't sparred with him. I know he's definitely gained since when I sparred with him. His power is tenfold. He definitely upped his power for sure. But just from what I've seen with the past couple fights, this kid, he can break ribs with a single blow. And he's definitely making a lot of noise with his punches too. So
I don't know where Chris is getting this at. He says, Hearn said that Khan isn't fighting Crawford unless it's after the Brook fight.
Well, we're hearing something different from the other.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
We're hearing from Worldwide Boxing. We heard from.
that comes down again, though. You don't know. I mean,
We don't know. Because I don't think, honestly, I don't think Brooks big on that fight right now. Do you want to lose? You know what I mean?
Brooke needs to stay away from him. He needs to
You
stay away from Spence.
Bud will break that third fucking eye.
Right.
He'll break that chakra.
I'm over about to bring a bucket to catch those things.
I'm telling you, that fight is about made right now. They've been negotiating before Horn because they knew they were going over Horn.
Yeah, but it's interesting, though.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, Crawford is not scared of anybody. Crawford's cold.
And I wouldn't be with it, again, and I'm not trying to take anything away. Crawford's a badass dude.
Oh, and they're saying that Prescott knocked out Khan at lightweight.
When we go on this pound for pound list, as we were talking earlier, and how I had it, but for somebody to say they have Crawford number one, by no means will I say you're crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the things, like, I can see where people are coming from if they have Crawford number one.
Right.
I mean, he's that good right now. You know what I mean? And the same with Spence, and the same with Lomachenko. And I could even still see what throwing a Mikey Garcia in there. I mean, it's not crazy to put that in there because of what he's been doing, and then another weight class title in another weight class that he just won. It's
Well, they're definitely at the top of the division, and this is definitely something that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, and I'm anticipating. As far as Crawford and Errol Spence go, I can't really determine because I know Crawford is one of those men. He can conform to anybody's fight style.
I definitely wouldn't bet that
He's
fight.
a technician. He can.
I wouldn't bet it.
He's one of my all-time favorites as of right now. But also, I back Earl Spence. That's my hometown boy. Love him to death, and he's definitely got the skill set to beat anybody who steps in front of him.
Well, you know what shocked me about Crawford? Have you guys met Crawford? You met Crawford?
Yeah.
I've never met him.
How big he is? He's a
He's
big
taller
man.
than me, too.
Yeah.
He's taller than me, yeah.
But frame-wise,
What, about 5'10"?
he's a lot smaller than
Yeah, about
Spence.
5'10".
How tall is Errol? About 10?
He's about 5'11".
5'11", yeah.
Yeah, but frame-wise, he's a good amount smaller than.
He has that nice.
Frame-wise, definitely, for sure.
He's smaller.
I will guarantee you Crawford has a better reach than Spence. Crawford has a better reach.
I'm still saying overall natural size.
Crawford's damn arms go down past his knees almost. I'm like, what the hell? Nah, but
Damon asked, he goes, should Crawford fight Spence in a southpaw stance?
why?
Why would he?
Because Spence is southpaw.
Yeah, but why? You dance with who brought you. If that's what got you, don't change it.
You don't conform to anybody else's fighting style because I mean it's ignorance.
And going back on that, with his long range, I think it would be in his favor to fight right-handed and utilize that right hand, that straight right against the southpaw easier. I
will say this though, I know a lot of southpaw fighters can't fight other southpaw fighters. It's just it's awkward. It's a whole nother.
They spend the whole time smashing heads.
Exactly. And they're used to that orthodox fighting style. Granted, I don't think Crawford should ever try to switch up his style to fight to conform to EJ's, because already you're saying I'm fighting this guy's fight. I'm conforming to, so you're pretty much all in all losing the fight.
Yeah.
What group?
In my opinion.
What group are you part of, William?
The HBO Real Spartans.
I like that group. We know the HBO Spartans group.
Fucking Palos comes on, and the first time he comes on the show, and he comes on disagreeing with me.
Did he? What'd he say?
Well, not disagreeing. He goes, Crawford in the pound for pound list for sure. Well, we already said that. He goes, I have Crawford over Earl.
I agree with Pelos. And you know what? It's so close between them.
So Christine is saying that Crawford should switch like he does.
Who said that?
My mother. Christine, how are you?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous against a guy like Spence.
Why would you switch if you've been winning the way you have?
Because he still switches in his
I mean,
fight.
if you switch every now and again.
My thing is this.
He did it against Horn.
But my thing is this. Switch when you need to switch. Don't switch. Just don't preemptively switch.
Well, he was saying, why didn't he fight in the southpaw stance for the duration? No, I think that's creative.
Something you got to go back and look at is how many fights Spence, how many times did he play the southpaw too? Because Spence didn't have much pro experience against southpaw. Maybe Crawford can go a little bit southpaw though, because it is something different.
Crawford's an ambidextrous guy. He can fight with either hand. But for me personally, if I was training him, I would say, look, let's do what you normally do, and if we have to adjust, we'll adjust somewhere during the fight. I'm not going to go in there preemptively and have a crazy ass game plan.
To come in southpaw, fighting southpaw, no, I think.
Because Spence is a better southpaw than.
Oh, for sure,
Crawford.
definitely.
He's been doing it longer.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and
That's like saying, let's go in and match Spence and body work. You might as well. They might as well give Crawford the shovel. He can start digging a hole in the back of Madison Square Garden.
right. And like you said, make the necessary adjustments
Christine
during the
said,
fight.
your mom said
Yeah,
that.
that comes down to
what I said.
how
That's
he's
what I
feeling
said.
during
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She's a smart
if he
lady.
turns southpaw,
She is a smart lady.
which Crawford could get away with that, even against Spence. If he turns southpaw and finds that that's working, like it has against everybody else, obviously.
But that also goes down to the cornerman too. You know what I mean? They're supposed to make the necessary adjustments from the outside looking in. Again, what you said, James, as far as going in with this crazy, I'm just going to fight southpaw. No, that's ignorance.
No.
Make the necessary adjustments as needed. Like my mother said,
Exactly.
make-
And if
make
something's
them when
working,
necessary, for
if
sure.
something's working better than the other, obviously you'll stick with it. You know.
Definitely.
Hello said Crawford's IQ will be the difference. It would be a very tough fight for both fighters, but I see Crawford pulling it off. Pelo's actually fought Crawford in the amateurs, so he has experience with Crawford. Hurd versus Jamel, I heard. I have heard. I get it. Good joke. You know what? If that fight came to pass, I would have Hurd beating Jamel Charlo.
Yeah, I saw he's a big dude.
Jamel is just. I'm not. Charlo's a talented guy, but Hurd is a monster. He's just so big.
I was just
He
with him.
reminds me of Antonio. He reminds me of an American version of Antonio Margarito.
Does he?
I was just in last week at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I took a picture with her. I mean, he got to be every bit of 195 and has good shape, too. Not sloppy 195. I'm 230. That dude was every bit as big as me.
And he
You know
was
what
just
I
as
mean?
tall.
Hurd.
Yeah, that was a big boy.
He was about 6 foot, right?
The only thing that could hurt, the only way I see him getting beat at junior middleweight is if he absolutely drains himself and has nothing on fight night.
I mean, you can only go to the well so many times and blow up
Yeah.
in weight and have to
Very
lose
cool.
35 to
agree.
40 pounds.
I agree with that.
But he's just in great condition and being that big, it's hard to beat him. He gets stronger as the fight goes on, you know. Now when he moves to middleweight, now you got boys your size, and I don't know how you would fare there.
I want to say Jamal Charlo has more pop on his punches
I would
than
agree with that.
Ruslan Dilara.
I would agree with that.
And you can keep coming all night, but eventually you got to respect your opponent's power if he can hurt you.
I think there's just. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, definitely. I mean, that's
I think there's guys in that division that the Charlos need to really think about fighting. Like maybe Jaime Munguia is another one. Just monster power and big.
Okay. A lot of people are riding the wave off Jaime Munguia's last victory.
Well, I've watched
over
him. I've
Saddam
watched him
Ali.
fight for a couple of years now. I've
But
seen the kid.
Let's look at something. Saddam Ali, at best, is a natural welterweight. And then let's not forget something. He beat Miguel Cotto, who started his career at 135, not 147. So he beat the naturally smaller man. And of course, Jaime did what he was supposed to do. He demolished it. I mean, he was the bigger, stronger man, the harder puncher. Saddam had chin issues in the past against Jesse Vargas. Jaime went out and destroyed him. But before we say Jaime is the next big thing at junior middleweight, let's see him against an Ishii Smith.
that's
or
another
a
step up,
Tony
but
Harris.
that's still a step up for Charlo.
That's a step up Charlo because who's he really fought? Yeah.
Erickson Lubin. Austin Trout.
Come on now, Austin Trout.
No, I mean, okay.
Charlo was good back in 2010 when I was sparring
He
with
was
him.
one.
Austin Trout is this generation's Jerry Quarry at junior middleweight.
Austin
Before-
Trout has been around too long.
But you know, like what Jerry
But
Quarry.
how bad is Charles' resume when you got to bring up Austin Trout and Erickson Lubin?
Erickson Lubin was a rising prospect.
Exactly. What did you just say?
Rising.
Rising prospect.
Erickson, before he lost to Jamal Charlo, Erickson, he didn't lose very many rounds.
And wait a
He
minute.
was dominating.
He got caught. You didn't see much of what he could do or what could happen. He got caught early. It was over. I mean, I think that fight could go 20 different ways if they tried it again.
Jamal
what do you think?
Whitewashed it very tough.
I think, well,
King Gabriel was
as far
as well.
as far as Trout, I see Trout as the modern Roy Jones. You should have hung it up when you had the chance. You know what I mean? You made your noise. You rung bells, and you definitely did what you needed to do. Still trying to hang on to that hat and get beat by guys like the Charlos.
What?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're taking nothing away from Charles
No,
right
no,
now.
not
As far as boxing ability.
I have mad respect
All
for
we're
the
just
two.
trying to say is, as anybody, I mean, it happened with me coming up. You know, like, I had a great knockout record, this, that, and it was true. Like, well, who the fuck did he fight? You know what I mean? And it's, you have to say that. And we just want to see, if we keep hearing the name, but we want to put something with that now. You know what I mean? That's where it's coming with.
I think if we're
Trout
coming,
was not a good measure.
no, I think if we're coming through Jaime Mongia's record and Hurd's record, we need to call in the Charlos record as well.
And to make a statement, and you have to make a statement like that. You have to make a statement fighting an older Austin Trout, and that's for it to come down to that type of fight.
Didn't Charlo fight somebody with one leg, and it went 5 rounds? You remember that dude? He crawled around with one fucking leg.
I remember that fight. The boxer went into that fight
Injured.
I mean,
And
I
it still
cannot
took
think I
5
was
rounds.
And if I went through 8 rounds of training camp and I got a high 5-figure payday, I'll go in with a doggone broken ankle if I can pass the physical walk in the ring.
All right, Damon goes, does Porter beat the dog shit out of Danny? How
No.
does Crawford handle Porter if it were to happen? Listen, I'm not saying this because I'm a Porter fan and he's my homie. Okay?
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly why, actually. Yeah.
But I am going to throw this out there. I think with Porter's style and his natural size,
big.
I know I've known him from when he played football, from when he fought in the amateurs at 165, and he's just a bigger, stronger guy with athletic ability. I see him being a problem for most guys at 140. Styles make fights. I think he would give Crawford
A hell of a run for his money.
exactly
Definitely.
because of his style.
So
I see him beating Danny Garcia, beating him up. I do. I see him beating the Danny Garcia up, especially from round 5 on. That's what I see.
I think Crawford would beat the shit out of Sean Porter. Let me tell you why. Because he's made to order. He would come right into Crawford. When you come directly to Crawford, you're gonna pay.
You might be right, and that's one that I'll take it on the chin for. But
You're
I'm
gonna
just
have
going to
to.
stick with
You'll have to use angles and box to beat Crawford. You can't come to him.
I don't think you can necessarily outbox Bud Crawford. I mean, if you crowd him and don't allow him to use that boxing ability,
He can be out.
That's where you. And
you got a chance. You have a chance.
If
if
you get,
anybody could do it at that weight, it's going to be Porter.
You also got to
Well, same
remember.
with Horn. I mean, I guess so. For the first 2 rounds, you just got to be an awkward fighter when you're fighting Bud.
and you've
I
got.
mean, you know, and those are the ones that are the hardest people to fight. Are the ones that
And big
are
and
very
strong
awkward.
like Horn was. Horn was big. If
Yeah.
Horn wasn't that big of a welterweight, that fight would have been over earlier.
Hey, Jimmy
You know what I
said
mean?
back in the '80s this fight would have already happened yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy stuck in the '80s.
He is, man.
But wait,
Got
getting
his
back,
stonewashed jeans.
Well, you know, everything now is all about the
Without the
amping
80s.
the fight and trying to
getting,
make it bigger than.
Hey, we got Virgil Ortiz watching. In the end, business in. Javier Pelo says there are many stepping stones in boxing, and they will use whatever they need to build up a fighter. Exactly. But I you know, and what they were saying though, I really think that Crawford, to beat him, you need to jump on him early because he's slow. He's a slow starter. But when he gets past that 3rd round, he
Once he
collects data
establishes
and he
his-
starts
yeah,
beating you up. And Spence is a quick starter. Spence will work you
He'll,
up.
in the first round or 2, he's already established himself, and Crawford, he's definitely one of the later round guys. I mean, if he doesn't stop you early on, he's definitely going to be the one to
It's definitely a fucking fight
pick you
that
apart. He'll pick you
we
apart later
need
in the
to
rounds.
see. You know what I mean? I think that boxing needs to see.
And also, we're back to Porter and Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. They were just got brought up.
I think
I
Porter,
got Porter beating Danny Garcia.
I mean, beat him up.
You're from Philly.
I'm from Philadelphia. And, you know, for
I
me,
know.
Sean Porter is a tough fighter. Sometimes I call him Little Evander Holyfield because he uses his head.
Yeah.
You know, but I would say don't necessarily count out Danny Garcia. I counted out Danny Garcia back in September of 2013 when he fought Lucas Matisse. After watching Lucas Matisse steamroll Lamont Peterson, and
That was 4
Danny
years
pulled
ago.
that fight out.
That was 4 years ago.
Okay, but just say if you
That
weren't
was-
from Philadelphia.
If you were from Philadelphia,
If I wasn't from Philadelphia, I mean, I would still say.
he rides with
Don't
Gabe
count
Rosado. You know
Danny
he rides hard with Gabe Rosado too.
Danny's never really taken a serious beating.
I mean,
I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that.
Let us all not forget something. Back in June of 2015.
Let me hit you with some knowledge. Porter Strong,
Well,
and he's good. And
You got a
his
fan
style-
over here.
His
Got one
style's
vote for
awkward.
Porter, yep.
Garcia, I hate to say this because it's another former stablemate of mine, but Brandon Rios has been done.
yes.
Hector Beltran says
That
George
fight-
Ortiz Sr. is
that-
eating nuts
that-
right
I'm not saying it
now.
was a lucky. Yeah, I am going to say that knockout. Most people that know boxing was not expecting that knockout to happen like that against Brandon Rios.
Brandon
It
Rios
wasn't
stayed
that,
in
it
the
wasn't
fight.
that easy of a fight for Danny Garcia. So I'm just saying, with that being said, you're getting a guy now like Porter, prime, strong, against Danny Garcia. It's just going to be different in that fight.
Well, with Porter and Garcia, the one wild card I see is this. Adrian Broner lost damn near every round when him and Sean Porter fought back in June of 2015.
Yeah.
Adrian caught him with a Hail Mary left hook.
Broner
Danny
hits hard.
Garcia's a good
Broner can
counterpuncher.
punch. Broner can punch.
No, he can.
You can ask Ashley Theo Payne and a lot of these other guys. They will tell you that dude can punch.
And he gets dangerous in the late rounds too.
When he's cornered, he fights.
And a lot of people sleep on Broner. It's just the rep he's giving himself outside of the ring.
And
A lot
also,
of people are-
I think we're going to see a change of Broner
Yeah,
because
he
of Kevin
works hard.
Cunningham.
He's a hard worker when he's
No, he does.
in
Kevin
he's-
Cunningham is making Broner a better fighter. I'm not saying what's going on outside the ring. He's crazy as hell.
Oh, yeah.
But as a fighter, Kevin Cunningham will improve him a little bit.
Well, we can get into that. Let's bring it up the outside.
He had Kevin Cunningham in the corner when he got whitewashed by Mikey Garcia.
Well, we're talking about Mikey Garcia now. We're talking about a whole other level. There's
Hey,
levels
we're
of
not
this game.
talking favoritism.
But no,
over here, okay?
No, we're not.
But I'm still saying. I mean,
Was there ever a doubt though in that fight?
No, not at all.
he had Kevin in the corner then, and you also got to look at something else.
He had him as a secondary in that corner.
But Kevin was yelling and he was cursing at Adrian. He was saying, Adrian, let your fucking
But everybody
hands go.
said it like you
But,
said
I mean-
the last time that Cunningham got these guys in check. He ain't having you're not getting Broner in check. But
Broner gets
Would-
Broner in check.
would you say this now on that? That's a good point you brought up. You actually brought it up first, but outside the ring. A lot of guys are trying to copy the Mayweather style to make money, but they're not doing it. Mayweather did it totally different. You didn't see the shit Mayweather, you didn't see him and shit like that. Mayweather did his shit like at the press conference, through media, stuff
Oh yeah,
like that.
when he's at home, he's a family man. He's very godly,
Exactly.
everything like that. But when he's in front of a camera, getting ready for a fight,
back
he's gonna
in-
be talking all the shit he needs to. You know
The
what I
Hector
mean?
Camacho
Everybody's
style,
trying to live
Hector,
that
you know.
lifestyle rather than, you know what I mean?
And instead of earn it like
Rather
he
than
did.
just be that lifestyle. That's
Um,
who Mayweather is.
Yeah.
Worldwide Box says Porter's going to rough up Garcia. Porter's going to make it a dirty fight with a lot of head missiles. Agreed.
Javier Palo says, I think Porter will give Crawford a good fight because of his style. He smothers his opponents. He does. He's big enough. That's stuff for any fighter, of course. Crawford will box and probably KO Porter.
So I think too.
And that's probably a
And
very good possibility, but
and Virgil responded back. He's eating pistachios,
Hey,
fucker.
that boy grew up 45 minutes away from me, though, so I can.
Yeah. Well, Virgil said he's eating pistachios, fucker, not nuts.
Not nuts.
Probably got a pistachio between a bird's nest.
Pistachio and a dirty bird's nest.
Now, how about Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr.? How do you all see that fight?
4 rounds.
Yeah.
4 rounds.
Quick one for Mikey.
What do you think?
Mike-
During Easter's
taking
last
that fight.
couple of performances, too, though.
Fortuna beat him.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then who they give it to?
Easter, of course.
I see. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Easter whatsoever. I'm really not.
What do you think?
Well,
He neglects his advantages a lot.
for me, I'm leaning toward Mikey Garcia simply on the fact, to me, he's the more technically sound boxer, the better trained boxer, and I mean, for me, I just think that he's just at a different level than Robert Easter Jr. I think he'll be able to neutralize Robert's height.
Oh yeah. Robert doesn't fight tall. He doesn't. He fights at
like
He
Kelly
fights
was saying,
like
he
Joe
doesn't
That's
use
why I
his-
said he neglects his,
yeah, he
his
neglects his
advantages that he got.
his reach, his height. You know what I mean? So
Mikey will take advantage of every advantage that Robert Easter thinks he has.
Not that I'm one to fucking talk about neglecting your advantages, but I still knock some people out though. But Robert Easter got that tall frame, you know, that long reach.
there.
And,
He try to fight
and Robert
small.
Easter got some boxing ability, you know what I mean, where he could use that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he don't though.
But you were a big puncher. I mean, if you had a height advantage and reach advantage and you wanted to throw that away, you could afford to do that.
Exactly.
Because you were a big puncher. I mean, you beat Edison Pantera Miranda when just about everybody at 160 was scared of him. And in fact, Bernard Hopkins anointed him as the boxer that would beat Jermaine Taylor, which it never came to fruition. And Edison Miranda was never the same after you two fought back in 2007.
That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee.
No, we were talking about also on Robert Easter. If you guys notice technically on him, he fights out of a very wide stance. And normally from a fighter's point of view, on a very wide stance, why they get in that habit is they've been caught before in camp, they've been hurt, and they don't want to get caught like that again. And also, when they're at that wide stance, they can't generate the power that they normally have when they're at a very wide stance.
They can't get the torque.
He can't get that torque on his shots, and he has not adapted or changed that yet.
Hey, all right, here's a good one that you guys can weigh in on. David says, Easter's a good dude. Oh no, that's wrong. Does anyone at the table care about Inoue being a top 5?
Absolutely not at the top 5 yet. Anyway, at the top 5, not yet.
I agree.
No, he's got to put in some more work for that to, but
that's where I want to go. You got to show him more.
In time, but that's just you gotta build up to.
I could see 8 or 9 right now. I could see 8 or 9, maybe 10,
top
10,
top
8,
5, no, top 10, top 15, hopefully.
anything like that. But I think it's too early right now.
I agree.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely top 10, but no, not top 5.
Well, you know, I've made the comment before that boxing fans are like prom queens. They live in the moment.
I
They
personally,
get that crown, they live in the fucking moment. 2 weeks ago, Inoue was the greatest fighter with gloves.
Yeah.
Crawford was the greatest last week. Spence will be the
but
greatest
personally,
tonight.
I still see a lot of sloppiness in Inoue. I do.
Well, I think he's been so easy. It's been so easy for him. You get away from some of those fundamentals.
And you know, I would like to see him win some fights in the United States. I mean, back in July of
15?
2011,
Okay.
there was a Japanese featherweight that fought on the Paul Williams Erislandy Lara undercard. And I mean, he took almost every round against a boxer named Rico Suavecito Ramos, only to get caught going into the final half of the fight.
Good point.
And you know, Worldwide Boxing 4, I have it within 4 too. I don't. Mikey's a quick starter himself, so I don't know. I really do. Back to Inoue. I don't think we're ready for that yet. I know a lot of people have him top 3. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys watching?
Not yet, no. Not even.
We literally heard people saying that he would beat Lomachenko at 35.
Who said that?
A lot of people. I'm like, you know, Inoue's
who?
only one. He'd beat Lomachenko. Inoue. I said Inoue's 118, barely 118. He just moved up.
So he's definitely a smaller guy.
That's
He's
where you
not
block
gonna-
them motherfuckers, and you don't ever let them comment on a boxing group ever again. But
but it makes for good comedic.
Chris
little
said
laugh or
a
whatever.
two-division lineal champion needs to put in more work. Loma can't say that.
Yeah.
See, that's the great thing about the Facebook Live too.
If Easter uses his
You can
height,
answer the questions you want to.
if Easter uses his height and reach, it could be interesting for a couple of rounds. When has Easter ever used his height and reach though?
That's what
That's
I'm
what we're
saying.
saying,
He fights
yeah.
small.
Not
He's got a
even-
wide
he didn't
stance.
use it against
He doesn't
Frisco.
utilize his abilities
100%.
or his advantages rather.
That's exactly what we all been saying. That he neglects the advantages that he has.
Will Kevin Cunningham be able to make a difference? Or is
I
it
think so. I really do. I think so.
But we're not talking about a sustained period of time.
No, he hasn't done enough yet to make a difference. It's been too short of a time.
Yeah, too short a period.
It takes 2,000 hours scientifically to change a style. Well, see, Pelos wants to ask if he wasn't watching Mikey
That
versus
comes
Loma.
down to the fighter too. Also, the fighter's got to work on that shit over and over and over. Also,
You gotta be willing to learn to conform to.
Cunningham. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying you gotta be willing to conform. You gotta have the want. I mean, yeah, you said it takes 2,000 hours to change the style and everything like that. You've also gotta have the fighter's gotta want himself.
That's what I'm saying. It comes down to the fighter, what he does. You know, fuck. I mean, even when you're at home, walk around the house, work on shit. But fuck, I forgot where I was going. But Cunningham, obviously a very good disciplinary guy. I respect him. I've known him for years. I just don't know if that's going to be enough time at this point, too, though.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
is he too far ahead of the game? Too far into the game to really change that?
I was telling a client today, even I was, everybody kind of detracts from the fundamentals of boxing. They tend to make their own little style, everything like that. The older you get, the more. I don't know, I guess you become familiar with your own fighting style. You're not going to really want to conform or even want to take that in from somebody else. Somebody tries to change your fighting style, you think you know best, you're not going to really want to do that. And I don't think that he's necessarily has the want to change what he's doing.
Yeah, it's working for him.
Good point.
Us.
Because they'll change. Go back to the Gotti when he was with McGirt. Go back to all of them.
Yeah.
You'll go in there and be like, yeah, I'm going to box. I learned this. As soon as you get that fucking little buzz through your body, that first
that switch,
you're
that
back
first
to
punch or whatever, it's a game changer.
Pelos wants to know Mikey versus Loma again. He wants to hear it.
All right. Well, Chris, I was joking, homie. You're one of our best guests that we got on the show, or guys that watch, fans. What happened?
Javier wants to know Mikey versus Loma. Let's hear it again. I got Mikey, but I got Mikey.
I mean, Loma can fight, but I got to take Mikey.
I think Mikey's too strong for.
He's a bigger man.
I think, yeah.
And I think Mikey's a technically better fighter, not the athletically better, but technically better. And I will take technique over athletics any day.
Yeah. Roy Jones, the difference between Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins.
Yep.
What's that?
Technique.
Oh, yeah.
Technique. Bernard might have been one of the most technically sound fighters in history.
See, that was another one going into, like with that. People ask me best footwork. I think people, like a lot of guys, got the wrong idea of what great footwork is. They think it's flashy and
they think what Loma's doing, what Pacquiao's been doing. They think that's great footwork.
Yeah, that is great footwork.
Yeah, and that's a style that not a lot of people can duplicate. That's what they've conformed to.
Yeah,
I think that's great because you're able to work angles. You're able to get in.
Yeah, but
inside,
you get guys
outside,
that are underrated, like Mikey Garcia, like Bernard Hopkins. Guys who made that move at the right time to take away the power shot, to get in position, to frustrate you, to be able to block shots where you can't land your power shots. Bernard Hopkins is phenomenal at that.
Awesome.
Box is a game of inches and angles. It really is. And he just made that right move at the right time. Mikey Garcia does the same thing. He makes that right angle and that right step at the right time that takes away all the punches that you're going to throw. And then, of course, you got Lomachenko, though, and guys like that with great footwork. But so there's a difference on that,
Well, I want to capitalize a little bit more as far as the footwork. What, in your opinion, as far as professionals go, I know there's different fighting styles. There's different kind of fighters. Some are a little more flat-footed. Some are very technical. They know when to move at the right time, and some are just all over the place. What do you? I mean, your opinion on footwork? What do you think as far as being a pro? What do you think that should be?
I personally, like I just mentioned, I think the guys with the underrated one are not flashy. Guys that can take away, make that right step, and if you go back and watch like Bernard's fights, take that step, take away your power, take away the speed or the combos that you're going to set up. He used to jump in with that right hand, frustrate the shit out of you. Perfect timing. He was good skill-wise, don't get me wrong, but he was also very smart and knew when to do that and where to be to frustrate you, take you out of your game plan. That was all by footwork. That was by, to be in the right place at the right time comes down to making that step and the footwork to be in that space.
That's good.
And if you look at Mikey Garcia, what he does, it comes down to footwork. He puts himself in the right place at the right time and take away what you're going to do. So there's two different kinds of footwork.
And I don't see Mikey Garcia as a flashy footwork, but he positioned himself at the right time, right moment, like you were saying. So
that comes down
I would never categorize Mikey Garcia as like, I know him for his footwork. I know him for this. But if you are
a student of the game,
you
know what to look for.
Another thing that Mikey does and Bernard did that people don't talk about is they find range with their feet. and not with their hands. Well, you'll get a lot of boxers pulling this shit, pulling out there, trying to find range. Find a range. Guys like Mikey and Bernard, they get their range from their feet. And you'll find, and who else does that very well? Errol Spence. Errol Spence ranges you from his feet.
And I know this shit. Facts.
Did you find your range from your feet too?
What's that?
You found your range with your feet too.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about I fought Hopkins. I mean, again, it was not making no excuse. I don't give a fuck. Small document I had, it was an off night for me, but it still don't stop what he did. You know what I mean? He come in, he just knew where to be, even when you're clinched. He knew what to do, how to position, and that's something that you can teach a little bit, but that comes down to the individual himself.
I've seen Mikey put his knee into the guy's thigh, and the guy don't have a hook anymore. It just something simple like
you push,
something small like that no one would see. I put that knee in the thigh, shut his
whole
whole
ass
hook
would get
down.
caught with shit like that. Fuck, I was the only person I think to ever get a pointy tuxedo from fighting Hopkins.
You know what I mean?
Usually Hopkins, you know what I mean?
How do you say his name? Declaning?
They had
Latichinin. Mikey had his knee into his hip, and he couldn't throw it. Yes. He put that knee into the hip, and he could not land a shot his left hook that way. And that's what they were scared of, was that left hook of his. Yeah. And that's perfect footwork when you can shut a man down by using just your feet.
Dayon's now trained by Buddy McGirt.
And that's a good thing for him. That is really good for him.
Who's training by?
Buddy McGirt.
Who's training who?
Dayon Latika.
The one Mikey knocked out for like 5 minutes. But he trained him for the first fight.
No.
He trained for Mikey. Yes, he did.
No. I was at that fight, and I watched,
He trained
on Showtime.
Yes, he did train him for that because they had the interview with Robert Garcia and Buddy McGirt, and they were talking about fighting each other.
You must be talking about Sergey Lipinets.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, that was
Lipinets.
Yeah.
Lipinets had a Montenegrin training.
All them Russians look alike. Why is this?
We got a big Russian fan base. Man.
Why is this? No, but you're right. You're right. My bad. But yeah, and you know what? That might improve him some. He might be taking over.
You get all fucking excited and start bouncing around this fucking table and you miss the point, man. He was right.
He's right. I told him he was right. But he might be taking over Igis Klimas as the new Russian guy. You know what I mean? Buddy McGirt.
Might be.
Simon says, the older you get, the more you have to be more fundamentally sound. Fighters like Garcia doesn't waste energy with their type of footwork. Holyfield footwork negated Tyson's power in the first fight. That and steroids.
Yeah, well, okay.
And headbutts.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fucking hammerhead, too.
Making it a dogfight, yeah.
Also, you gotta look at the corner, too.
Yeah.
I was talking shit about Holyfield one time, and that dude called me on the phone.
Who was this?
Holyfield.
Oh, really?
He got balls of steel. He don't give a fuck. I was talking shit. He called me.
He was gonna beat your ass, too. That was a watch.
Hell yeah. He goes, why do you hate me? I said, well, let me start from the beginning.
Right.
I said, when I was on the Army team, you came and visited the soldiers when I was in the Army boxing team, and you refused to sign autographs unless I gave you $25. Fuck you.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, David goes,
Beat my ass, I'll sue him.
Triple G.
For what?
I don't know what you're gonna get.
For what, child support?
I take over his child support. Triple G versus Canelo 2. Now that it's happening, is there any different outcome when it's cheating in hot blood? It's going to suck for Canelo no matter if he wins or lose. That's going to be brought up.
The ball's already not in his court with the whole allegations and everything that's been going on. So
if he wins, it's because of the shit he was on. If he loses, it's because he's not on the shit.
But I do see Canelo winning this rematch. I think if Canelo, the first fight I had at Canelo, the first 3 rounds, I gave Triple G the rest. Okay? I thought he dictated the fight. Canelo could have done just a couple things different in that first fight where he could have won that fight. Actually, kind of easily. The second fight, Triple G's age, the last 2 fights, everybody's different. Everybody ages differently. Fucking Triple G's 36, 37 years old. He looks like it in his last couple fights. I think Canelo, off the shit, beats Triple G in this rematch.
I mean, with much regret, I have to say that I hope I'm wrong, but I believe that Canelo will win the second fight. I mean, it's just more adjustments that he can make.
Exactly, that's what.
But the wild card is Triple G has to do some body work. He's got to find a way. I mean, even if it's just a hard jab to the solar plexus, he's got to use some body work.
Yeah.
The problem is,
no matter
Canelo will
what-
catch you when you do that shit.
Yeah. No matter what, though, you don't. The last thing to go.
definitely
We've said this on the
for
show,
sure.
and it's true.
Canelo's an
Last
offensive
thing to
weapon.
go is power. You're 100% right. Maybe he may want to invest more into body work against Canelo,
But can he?
being his age now, and at least he's still got the power to make Canelo carry those, in the later rounds. So that is a good point. That's something that Triple G's going to have to add in and worry about or work on. But given Canelo this big difference in time now, a little over a year, I think that he should definitely be able to win this fight. You know what I mean? I do.
What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I honestly have Canelo taking this rematch. Again, you were saying everybody's body kind of conforms differently as they get older, and Triple G's last couple fights have definitely portrayed that. Canelo he's a bad motherfucker. He's a bad man.
He is.
He's a
And
bad man.
I will say unequivocally on this show and in front of God, Canelo beats Spence. Canelo beats both Charlos. He beats them all.
Well, in all fairness to Triple G about his performance in his last, in all fairness to Triple G about his performances in his last two fights, Daniel Jacobs blew off the secondary weigh-in. And I will say Daniel came into the ring a cruiserweight, and when you're a super middleweight and you're fighting a cruiserweight and you're hitting him, that cruiserweight is going to be able to stand up.
Yeah, but that's been happening in boxing for how many years? He made weight. He made 160. He didn't come in 160 and a half, 161.
If you got the
190.
secondary weigh-in the next day, even if it's not mandatory, I mean, you're obligated to go.
I know. I do see your point on that, but there was nothing illegal about it.
Do you see
He
it
didn't piss dirty.
Do you see it as cheating
He
as
made
for him to be able to
160.
jump up like that?
Well, this is what I would do.
I don't.
If I was Triple
That's an
G,
advantage.
Yeah.
if I was Triple G and I was fighting Daniel Jacobs again, we would definitely have a rehydration clause. If you're over a certain weight the next day of the fight, that's going to cost you
You're taking away from Danny Jacobs.
Well, I mean, but seeing that-
he fought a good fight.
I disagree. Definitely disagree
Was
with
it
that.
fair that the late Arturo Gatti came into the ring 160 against Joey Gamache in February?
Yeah, but they started
2000?
regulating that after. The WBC really stepped in and started regulating
The
that.
10% rule.
But listen, what I'm saying is, Triple G can go out there and fucking rehydrate too. There ain't no limitations on to what you can eat or what you can't. Again, I'm just going on it. Danny Jacobs
And that's why I
made weight.
disagree, because I believe everybody's under the same. We're under the same rules. You got the same contract.
Yeah.
If you make weight, if you come in at 160, very next. What are we trying to do?
If I see my opponent sitting
we
there,
have 24 hours to hydrate and get ourselves back where we want to. What are you gonna do?
Was Triple G?
hydrate, yeah.
Was Triple G lost? I would hate to think Abel Sanchez and Triple G are that fucking stupid that they didn't know that he was that big in all his other fights.
If after a weigh-in I was walking through MGM Grand Hotel or buffet line, and I see my opponent fucking smashing down pasta, pizza.
Are you gonna tread
I'm
lightly?
gonna
Or
go
you
over
gonna
there
go
and sit
let me
right
just-
next to his
Yeah,
ass.
right?
Fucking
That's what I'm saying. Are you
calculate.
gonna tread lightly, or are you gonna go in there and fucking
Yeah.
smash your face too?
Yeah.
Woke up, get
But
You know,
no.
you scream in my fucking room at night.
Right.
You know Abel Sanchez and Triple G knew how big that Danny Garcia comes in all his other fights. They knew that. And Danny Garcia has, or not Danny, I'm sorry,
Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs has improved, like, with adding Chris Algieri into his diet. It's a big fucking deal. And he will come in a little
I think
better
Danny
shape and lighter.
Jacobs, at junior middleweight, I agree with him. Canelo beat some guys because he fought the Triple Gs
Oh,
who
no,
are
Danny Jacobs beats
notorious
Canelo.
heavy punchers. But I think Danny Jacobs right now is the man at 160. I truly do. I think with his size, his natural
And
ability,
he's
I
taking
think
some
Danny
time
Jacobs
off,
is the
but
man
I
at
feel like
160.
he's definitely.
Can you see
He's in
that?
the gym steady, though.
Yeah.
I think he is.
I think Danny
And,
Jacobs beats
and Danny Jacobs is a good dude. He's good for the sport too.
Yes.
So
I just think Danny Jacobs can beat Canelo, but I think Canelo's the better fighter out of the Charlos, and maybe Spence is a bigger man.
I feel like, I was gonna say
And
he's a bigger fighter.
He's an offensive weapon. Let's be honest. The guy's punch selection is probably second to nobody's. His punch selection and his defense. People sleep on this guy's defense. His feet aren't great. Canelo's.
Oh, he's the most underrated defensive fighter, I
What
think.
about fatiguing later in the fight?
That's another issue. That's another issue.
Well, that's the muscle, all the muscle he put on.
And now that muscle's gone, is it the same?
muscle soaks up a lot of oil. Believe me,
It does.
I know from lifting out. I
It
try to
does.
hit the bag for a round. My fat ass and muscles are all like, fuck this, I'm done. 2 minutes actually.
To beat Canelo like that, you'd have to take him to deep water. But how
And
much
he
are
doesn't
you?
have his Mexican meat anymore.
No, he don't have
right.
that. He don't
You
have
that
that.
oxygen being pumped to
No,
you.
he don't have it.
Muscles like,
But how much are they willing to take to get to that point?
how many beatings or how many rounds of beatings are you gonna go before you can make it to that those later rounds? But yeah, so yeah, you're absolutely right.
Damon says, guys have Jamal Charlo beating Jacobs clean after his fight with Centeno. Dudes are in love with the Charlos. True or false? I think so. I think they're mostly Texans.
Say it again.
Dudes are in love. Have them beating Danny Jacobs. Jamal Charlo beating Danny Jacobs.
I don't see it happening at all. But watch, it'll fucking happen.
I don't
give
see
a
it
fuck
happening
out.
right now,
Put
if
him to
at all.
sleep.
I don't see it happening right now, if at all.
So which Charlo's better, Jamel or Jamal?
I can't tell the two apart.
What do you think?
I can't do it.
I mean, for me,
One starts more fights with than the other one. I got that figured out.
Which one?
Jamal.
Jamal. And then Jamel.
Jamel was telling Jamal to
More-
chill.
More sound, kind of.
for me, I think Jamel is the bigger, more meaner of the two.
Jamal was the one trying to fight Gabe Rosado
I
in the
break
crowd
them
in
down.
LA.
I break them
Yeah,
down by
that's
their
all
weight
I
class.
know.
That's how I know them.
So what?
I break them down by their weight class. Now that one moved up to middleweight, it's easier.
You know, and I said it before, my issues with the Charlos are not what they do in the ring, it's what they do on the outside of the ring. It's extra shit. You don't
But
need
that
it.
goes. But then that plays in with Bronner, with
It's different.
yeah. Well, and then you got Tank too. Like all those
It's
guys.
different, yeah, but-
what you do outside the ring,
Yes, but
kind
Tank,
of depicts you, and like
but they should change Tank's name to Twitter Fingers Tank. That's what he is. He's a Twitter guy.
Yeah.
But the Charlos will go into New York City,
They're gonna riot.
Try to
They're
say
gonna get
shit
somebody
with
shot.
fuck New York, and do something about it, and then call NYPD to get him out.
Not to cut you off. I mean, I grew up. I was born in April of 1970. I'm from another era, and you have what is called the code of the street.
Yeah.
If you come in somebody else's neighborhood talking shit, or you go to somebody else's city
Yep.
talking shit,
Yeah.
you back up what you say. If you
Exactly.
can't back up what you say,
You don't
take
call the
your
cops
ass.
and
You
try to
take
get
your ass
their
whipping
flight
like
out
a
of there.
man. Because if you call the cops under the code of the streets, that makes you look like a bitch.
There are dudes in Dallas
For
that
real.
there are dudes here in Dallas that would snatch both their lives for some shit like that. And you know what? They went to LA talking shit, saying fuck LA and all this. They called LAPD to get them out of the arena.
But
What kind of shit is that?
What I'm going off, the difference is there's like shit that almost like fucking riots in hotel lobbies. You know what I mean? Like that's the point that it gets to.
The problem with Adrian Broner, Gervonta Davis, and the Charlos and a lot of other athletes is that they don't understand. They are not in the streets. They have something to lose. If you try to portray yourself as a person from the streets and you're not from there, it's going to end in disaster.
Yes.
Look at Tupac Shakur when he crossed the line and became an LA gang member. That ended in disaster. Being from the streets is like boxing. You do not play being from the streets.
Exactly.
Because I know people that are from the streets and wish they were.
Hector Beltran, you know Hector, don't you? From Dallas, good guy. He said Gary Russell, Oscar Valdez, Leo Santa Cruz, and Rigo. Who fights next and who? I think Gary Russell and Leo Santa Cruz will be the next fight.
Yes.
And I got Leo.
All right, I gotta answer this YouTube.
I got Leo Santa Cruz on
I
that.
got Leo. Who do you got?
I'm about to leave with Gary Russell Jr.
I can see that Kelly has Gary Russell in that fight. I think.
He's the featherweight Andre Ward.
Yeah, but
I agree.
okay.
Fight.
But here's my thing, and if you disagree, I'm good with it because I'm not even 100% sure. But Gary Russell's a great counterpuncher. What beats a counterpuncher? Heavy volume punching, heavy
Aggression.
heavy
And
volume
Leo
punching.
Santa Cruz is definitely
A
aggressive
guy that
fighter.
throws 1,200 punches in a fight and has heavy hands. That could be disaster.
All right, I gotta do this YouTube comment. Jeffrey DeRune, watching from the job, guys. Wish I was there. Jacob seems to be a bit fading. I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so yet.
I haven't seen enough, man.
Well, see, like I said, same thing about Jacobs. I feel like he's starting to come back and do. You said he stays in the gym and everything like that. He does his homework and everything. I haven't seen him do anything in a while.
Yeah.
Except for his last fight, but I feel like I don't feel like he's fading. I think he still has what he needs to.
The
proper tools.
The one thing I will tell you, his condition and diet's on point. I can tell you that. A fact, his diet conditioning is on point.
Technically, boxing-wise to me, Daniel's on point. And had he fought Canelo instead of Triple G on September the 16th, I have Daniel Jacobs winning that fight.
I'd have to agree with you. I'd have to agree. But also, too, I think Danny Jacobs' only weakness is he fights to the level of his competition. He just did that recently. He fought to the level of that guy. And then
I don't think it's anything to do with fading.
No.
I just think that's his style. He gets bored, because you can see.
It's not fading, it's conforming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good point. Like I mentioned that in that fight. I said, this motherfucker shows signs of like
being a monster.
Unbelievable hand speed and boxing ability. And then he'll just, next thing you know, he's over there taking shots off the top of the head, straight to the body. And I'm going, what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? But
whoever thought he would have beat Peter Kid Chocolate Quillen?
Yeah, and I didn't see that in one round.
And went the distance with Triple G like I did.
And Kelly, what do you think? Go back to Leo, Santa Cruz, and Gary Russell.
Gary Russell, man. I think Gary Russell showed a lot in that fight. Santa Cruz throws a lot of punches.
Hard punches.
Gary Russell took body shots, brutal body shots in his fight against JoJo
Diaz.
And took brutal shots and literally took the heart out of JoJo Diaz in the 5th round because JoJo thought, all right, this motherfucker's going to pay for these body shots. Fucking Gary Russell was still out there firing 8-piece combos from KFC at his ass, man. You know what I mean? And fast and sharp. He literally sucked the shit out of the confidence out of JoJo.
Leo Santa Cruz is not JoJo though. He hits way harder.
I understand, but Gary Russell's speed
and you gotta
is going to slow down the punches. Santa Cruz will be afraid to throw that many punches at him.
Also,
he's gonna pitter pat the fuck out of him.
JoJo's hurt Gary in that fight. He hurt Gary Russell in that fight. If Leo lands those same shots, it is going.
He's heavy-handed.
But when you let those hands go against the counter puncher, you open yourself up.
Name a time you've ever seen Leo hurt or dropped. It hasn't happened yet.
I want to say in that first Carl Frampton fight.
Did he get dropped?
He got buzzed.
Okay. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, he's not JoJo. You aren't going to hurt this guy like that. Gary Russell's going to have to come in big to do something.
You don't have to hurt him. He's just going to pepper the shit out of him.
He's not going to. I don't think he's going to pepper the shit out of him.
Yeah, like I said, again, it goes.
Here's the thing. When you throw a lot of punches,
because of his
when you're doing this,
punches, volume of
eventually
punches,
you're going to get tired of throwing a lot of punches.
Amazing counter punches.
Well, let me tell you this.
But he's fast too, so I mean, it really.
Gary Russell cannot adjust. He's proven that he couldn't adjust Lomachenko. He had no backup plan. Leo Santa Cruz, listen. Leo Santa Cruz has a fucking backup plan. He can fight Carl Frampton, beat him soundly. Would everybody agree with that? He came back and whooped Frampton's ass the second time. He had a game plan.
Take a breath for a second. I got nothing against Santa Cruz being a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. I just think that matchup against Russell, Russell's a good, really good fighter, man.
Did he drop him?
He truly is. I don't see. When you're getting hit in the face, you're going to be more concerned about blocking punches than throwing 1,000 punches a 10-round fight.
Even if he threw 600 by blocking punches, it would still be 600 hard fucking punches.
And eventually, that'll cause wear and tear and start breaking him down. And I think ultimately, Santa Cruz will come out on victorious in that fight.
And they're talking about what we think of Tank. I think Tank's a great fighter.
Tank's very gifted.
I think he's gifted. I think he can beat most everybody in 130, except for maybe Lomachenko. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think Tank is.
So what's going on with that? I know there was a bunch of talk about Loma and Tank having to fight Loma for. I know that was
Tank didn't want that. Tank didn't want that.
I thought it was mandatory.
It was, and somehow because Mayweather pushed that to happen, and Tank's not a stupid person. Tank's not stupid.
No, not at all.
He wasn't going to be
I don't think Tank has much say. This negotiation ain't really between Tank.
He does have a say, because he'll sit out. He'll do what Mikey did at Top Rank. He'll sit the fuck out.
Well, it's kind of hard to do that when you don't have a bunch of money coming in.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're that early in your career.
Make no mistake. Eddie Hearn will make sure those pockets stay full while he's off.
And I do believe that he could get sued for torturous interference as well.
I do agree with that.
And you could put money.
Hey, I was in that situation. I would have my renegotiation with Top Rank. Everything, man. They got fucking eyes everywhere, man.
You can sue them, but you cannot stop a man from earning a living. Yeah. He could be hired as a. He could be brought in as a what's the word?
That could freeze the contract for longer and longer and longer, though. It definitely can.
How do you think Mikey kept money coming in? How do you think Mikey kept coming in for 2 years?
Yeah, there's other investments.
Kelly.
Investment.
All right, well, that was a great show, guys. Thanks for coming on, man.
It was really great.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We need
I
it.
know I'm just the one sitting there looking pretty and
Yeah.
soaking all this in, but
we needed the
y'all needed a
experience.
pretty face.
It made my day.
We needed the experience
Oh,
with you
yeah, no,
guys.
I
You know, you
I
guys made the show so much better for us.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Anytime. Thank you, Jordan.
sir.
Thank you, William. Thank you. And great page. What page is it? What page are you
The
representing?
HBO Real Spartans.
HBO Real Spartans. We're on that page. by the
Yeah,
way.
we are.
We're on that
Is it
page.
Facebook?
Yes. It's a good boxing group.
All right, guys. Well, tune in. We'll be back Tuesday. Obviously, with the outcomes of the fights, and no guests still, huh, yet.
And thank you, guys. Have a good week.